Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and we are taking this week to look at many premium items that I've collected over the months and years of my tabletop role playing experience that inspire us, give us great mind fuel. And today, I want to show you a pretty top level premium creation here from Nord Games, and these are known as the Oracles. And I have two sets, and I believe there is a third set being. Why didn't I look this up? There's a third set for the Oracle Monster Generator, and these are five sets of cards that come in a boxed set, and the five sets of cards are then broken down each into five categories that you can pull from. Now, sometimes we've been talking about inspirations, whether they are useful like immediately at the table or for our prep. But I thought we would talk about something that, like I said, it's a bit of a premium ask. So I will share with you the links and prices for this. So, for example, let's see. Let's go to um, yeah. So let's share this out. So if you go to Nord Games and you go to the box set here, um, we have ourselves. This is their website, and it's, by the way, the links are in the description. This is for Nord Games, and the box set right here is saying that it is currently $50, and says event, and literally written on the box, on the back of the box, it says event-based story generation with over 1 billion combinations per deck for all fantasy role-playing games writers and storytellers. So this is very much not just reserved for tabletop role-playing games. If you want to be a novelist or a screenwriter, or you just need to knock the cobwebs out of your head, this is the kind of thing you want. Um, uh, Also, on their website, you can find these in PDF form, and right here it's listed at currently at $25. And lastly, if we go over to Amazon here in the States, we do have the Oracle box set, and they have it listed. Of course, they like to to undercut everybody else. They have it listed for Prime at $44.81 currently. And yeah, they say it's listed here as box set 5E, RPG storytelling cards, 300 themed tarot sized cards, scenario and story building, D&D role playing. Of course, they have to throw 5e and D&D in there for search parameters, but I will tell you that it is not limited to that. It's not limited to that at all. But just want to share with you guys some of the prices. And like I said, when I say premium, $50, maybe some you have to get it mailed to you. It's pretty wild. So right now, on off to the left of the screen is the cover of the box, and of course, Oracle Generator. The story, they're all called the Oracle, and then the subtitle. And this is the story generator, and of course, this is on the side and such. So in front of us, I have all five decks, four at the top of the screen, and uh, the fifth deck I have spread out into its component parts. And there's a fun, artistic portion of this that I find uh, um, it tickles my fancy as a story and plot enthusiast, and that is the art begins and it ends, and um, it challenges your preconception, your notion of where the story is going to go. So an example is we have here. this is what we're going to take a look at first is something pretty general. And as we're going to take a look at epic adventures. So each of these 5 decks has a title to it. We have this orangish red, browns, gold colored cards are called epic adventures. And then if we start at the upper edge near our box, we have contracts and bounties, we have political intrigue, relics and artifacts, and simple side quests. And like I said, each deck is then subdivided into 5 categories. And those 5 categories, especially here, separated into epic adventures, is the actor. What did I say? Anyway, we have the actor, the action itself, the subject matter or subject of the adventure. We have the intent, and then we have development. And what's really fun is these are the back of the cards, and they use artwork to differentiate the back of the card. So, for example, and there's a little bit of a story here too, and they subvert your expectations. So, for example, in this card, this is the actor, and there is it looks like a warrior or a knight, and there's homes on fire, and there's a dragon like fiery image burning that must have burned the town or something. Okay, we get that image. We've seen that plenty of times. And then the story continues into the knight beseeching maybe a great power or holy relic of some sort, and is gifted this great magical sword by an angelic being or avatar of some sort. And then on our third card, of course, our brave warrior or knight or whatever goes to battle the dragon that destroyed his town, or maybe town he was visiting or something like that. And then we've got success, vanquished, maybe literally sitting on a treasure trove inside the dragon's mouth or something like that. But then we get to our 5th card, and you're like, wait, what? and our noble knight with a broken sword sitting upon the throne. Oh, dragon's friends showed up, 2 of them. Damn it, it was hard enough taking care of one of them. Now 2 of them show up. Pretty hilarious. And the the story told on the back of the cards is just as fun as what we find on the inside of the cards. So yeah, that's what and we see this amongst all of them. Like for example, under contracts and bounties, we have ourselves someone posting up on a board. Oh, there must be some kind of lupine creature out there. Here's a contract or bounty to go after them. Okay, all right, okay. And then the story progresses on into a hunter has taken on this bounty, tracking them through the woods. Maybe that's snow or something like that, right? Cool, 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 cool. So then we move on into the hunt is on, the bounty is there. Who is the predator? Who's the prey in this situation? And then there's the challenge. Oh no, the hunter has found the were creature. Well, we know how this is going to turn out, right? Until we get to this. And the hunter is kind of like took the tension off the bow, and the were creature is like, please don't kill me, I'm sorry, it isn't me, or maybe I was cursed, or I wasn't the one that killed anyone, I'm being framed or whatever. So yeah, it does lend itself to subverting. So how do we use these cards? So we're going to flip each of these cards over. Boom, boom, boom. The actor, we have the action itself. There we go. We have the subject matter, the intent cards, and now I know, of course, you guys cannot see what's written on the cards, but we'll get into that. And then we, of course, have the development. And so the desire here is to start with each of these cards and in order come along and we create a story. Now I get it that using the word story or plot when it comes to tabletop role playing games can be triggering for some people because of the the direct meaning of what those things are. For example, we hear plenty of times in the tabletop community that we are creating a game designed for the players to interact, to have agency. This isn't your story. Right? Like, I'm not going to play a character in your story. I want to have some effect on it. This The word story, we have to use some kind of language as very simple communication with each other. And so, of course, these are not supposed to be heavy railroad plot driven stories where the players can have zero impact. That's not the intent. The intent is to be inspired and create problems, create situations, and then let the players come in and throw the monkey wrench in. So, for how I look at it is, as a world builder, as a designer, a game master, or something, it's like, look, I come up with the situation. Whatever the players do, if they do nothing, this is how it's going to turn out. If they do just one act, they come into town, they start asking questions, they get in people's way, they start causing um, all kind of issues for the NPCs and what is supposed to happen. They are the catalyst to make change, and so that's what that's about. So our first set of these cards for Epic Adventures, you will see that they are titled with a person or some kind of subject matter. On the cover, it says actor. So on the other side, we have a celestial, a warlord is an option, a ruler, maybe a mythical monster, dragon, a fiend, and these are very, very common in fantasy, and especially all of our fantasy D20 games, or aberration, undead, or whatever. So undead, very common. And then underneath them, we have four subjects. So they give us a little bit of a descriptor. The living dead are a fearsome foe. The intelligent ones are possessed of effective immortality, allowing them to become masters of their chosen form of destruction. Oops. Sorry about that. Yeah, I do this by the seat of my pants. And so let's see if we can. Here we go. So, what kind of undead are we looking for? And then, of course, on the card we have some options. Of course, you can roll or pick, or heck, you can even have your players roll a die or pick and create their own downfalls. So we have a lich, mummy lord, vampire, or something known as a skull lord. What's a skull lord? I don't know. You can use that for your own game. You can describe them. And you know me. It's like reuse, repurpose, rename, recontextualize. A skull lord can be anything. Thank you, camera. My hand is moving very slightly, and it keeps trying to zero in. So, of course, we have our different types of creatures. Even under celestials, we have ourselves a list of angels, archon, demigod, or something unique. And usually, the fourth option is something that may or may not be normally seen. For example, under fiends, we have our classic, like archdevil or demon lord, and then we have hag, queen, and other. And what's the other? Under other, it says fiends take a variety of forms, some of which cannot be easily categorized. They might manifest as anything from monstrous mercenaries to corrupting coins. And so this gives us an opportunity, especially if you start to become inspired, that while drawing these cards, getting a storyline going, you can be inspired by the options, and then you don't have to there's no reason for you to have any kind of concrete method of figuring out which one of these options you want to use. You go, oh, fiends, but I really don't want a fiend, but a corrupt sword. Maybe everyone wants it. Yeah, okay, that's it. And then you stick with that. So from here, we're going to create a story. We're going to use these cards to make a story and show you how they work. So I'm going to flip over the first one, and we're going to go with a warlord. Okay, so we're going to start with a warlord. And matter of fact, since I turn these over as they are, we're going to just follow them along this line. So we have ourselves our first person, and that is a warlord. Now, underneath these, maybe you guys, if you want to chime in, we can pick one of these or give me a number between 1 and 4. And the second card is known as the action. So, what action will our subject take? So, this under this one will dominate, and of course, there are plenty of actions such as will dominate, will destroy, will subjugate, will terrorize, manipulate, command, possess, enchant, transform, infiltrate, betray, bribe. Okay, so our warlord will dominate, and we need to know, well, if they're, since we have what they're going to do, what is the subject of their desire? What's the subject of their ire, their focus? And then over here we have our third set of cards. Maybe they're focused on a realm, a powerful individual, an artifact, maybe a legendary creature, a planar gateway, a rival or a government, maybe a war machine, a religious order. I mean, war machine really fits into this from a warlord itself, but we're going to go with focus on a realm. And then why do they want to become this? What is their intent? Why are they focused on this location or object or realm or something like that? And of course, we have a number of cards that describe to us what that's about. Maybe to become a ruler, maintain order, increase their power, recruit an army, maybe, or maybe it's out of spite or to get revenge or because of a curse. And then lastly, we have development. And usually this development is like a twist or a secret, or it may seem straightforward, but then there's this third element that gives us the players the opportunity to kind of like break the cycle of this maybe pretty simple and straightforward plot. And so, usually, like for example, these are called development cards. He says, but will be undermined by their most dedicated followers, or but doing so will cost the life of another, or but they will pay dearly for the consequences. Yeah, Drew, you're always here. Yeah. But they are unexpectedly interrupted, or but they are protected by a legion. Things. And Drew, we always fall into the same categories, right? Like Heath's Geekverse and Table Talk and Knights of Last Call, I believe, and some of those. I was just beginning to listen to the Knights of Last Call, like the part 5 skills to learn as a game master, dungeon master, or something. So, yeah. And that show inspired me, so I thought I would share some inspirational things that I have. So, again, these cards are pretty interesting, and like I said, they are a premium. I have 2 box sets of these. This is for stories, and then I have another box set. Let's see if there's any way for me to show these to you. Yeah, I'm gonna bring this around. Oops. I don't want to drop them. Here we go. And this is the other box set. They're all called the Oracle. This one's called Character Generator. It makes a ton of NPCs and people to fill your world, especially on the fly. Um, and then the box set comes with 5 sets of cards. And when you have the 5 sets of cards, each of the 5 sets of cards is broken down into 5 categories. So we have, for example, with these are for NPCs, villains and scoundrels. And context is important. I'll explain context in a minute. So we have the role of the NPC, we have their personality trait, we have their motivation, like what do they want? We have a set of flaws, and then we have an intrigue. And usually that, like I said, that 5th category is a bit of a twist on what the expectation is. Now, when it comes to these plot cards, Drew says the cards look neat, but again, I feel like it would not get much use out of it. What I like about them is that they can disrupt your expectations. I began this. I began talking about this because the so each deck of cards. One more time. Summary: each deck of cards is then subdivided into 5 categories, and the art on the back of the cards um, disrupts your expectations. And the point of the cards is that you may not get a result that you expect. And I like that because sometimes there, there's an expectation of something happening, and you go, wait a minute, there's a twist in this. And I like that because our own minds might be going down the exact same paths over and over again. And unfortunately, if we keep going down the same paths, we run ourselves in a little bit of like a hamster circle, and we don't want to do that. We want to be inspired to do something different. Like and again, using this as the example, we have the knight and the destruction. There's a fiery dragon and the destruction of a city. The knight gets a holy sword to go slay the dragon. The knight battles the dragon and it, leaps into the air. The knight defeats the dragon and gets the treasure with his broken sword. And then disruption. Oops. The dragon's got relatives or children or friends or something to come kill the knight that had to risk his life to try to do that in the first place. So, and you get this, and that's just the artwork on the back of the cards. I think it's pretty hilarious, and I appreciate the attention to detail. Um, let me show you another one. Like for example, over here is relics and artifacts. And again, on the back of the cards, we have our actor. We have our action. We have our subject. We have our intent. And then we have our development. And yeah, Drew says, my issue is that I run thematic games, and thus the twist would have to fit thematically. Now, mind you, remember, the hive mind sometimes can be smarter than us. So sometimes your players, our brains are, we don't like chaos. And instinctually, our higher level thinking tries to make order out of chaos. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Like, yeah, Drew said, randomness just is not suited to lead to catharsis. It's a possibility. I'm challenging you a little bit on that, in the sense that, yes, on your own, like as a creator and as a writer, you may think that I need to create these particular situations and themes to create a particular outcome. But if you're surrounded by really great players, 3, 4, 5 really great players who are themselves embracing the idea that their brains, our creativity, creates order out of chaos, that they may come about a theme, a subject, a catharsis on their own, out of a random situation that you created, and you had no idea that that's what the outcome would be. And that's the difference between like the OSR and more modern gaming, where we want to, in more modern context, we want to presuppose an outcome, and not an outcome. Let me rephrase the outcome. We want to presuppose a direction or theme. Like, for example, it could be loss, it could be some kind of ethical or moral quandary or something like that. Whereas in the OSR, it's just a number of situations that are devoid of those things. And then as we adventure, it comes about naturally. For example, in the very common, very popular Keep on the Borderlands adventure, it is not designed to create any kind of ethical or moral quandary. It doesn't really mention it, but everyone who's ever played it goes into the Caves of Chaos as first level characters, and you fight the goblinoids, and it's like, we need to murder kill all the goblinoids, and then you break down the door, you get into the room, and huddled in a corner are children and pregnant, I don't know, orcs, bugbears, whatever the case may be. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is a real situation. Now, some groups will just murder kill them and walk away, and they're not really bothered. Hey, the game says they're chaotic evil. I don't understand what the problem is. Or there are some players like my group that was like, what are we supposed to do? So again, it was a situation without a presupposed outcome for the players that just happens to be. And mind you, coming at that from both directions, there's nothing right or wrong about that, but it just happens that way. And also uh look, we don't know with these randomizations what is going to turn out from them, right? So that's why I like things like this, because sometimes it's just a matter of having cobwebs up in the brain and going, I keep going around in the same circle and thinking the same things. I need something different. Yeah, Drew says theme is for me not a direction either, but a framework. Thank you very much, because I really wasn't trying to. I wasn't using you as an example to say like you're railroading or something like that. I'm talking in general. But yeah, so Drew says theme is for me not a direction either, but a framework. Um, but do not want to discover the theme. I want to explore it. That means the theme has to be established first. I get it. Okay, not a problem. And listen, if I agree to be in your game, oh, I'm down. I'm that kind of person. Like, you tell me what you want, and if you're a mystery developer and you want me to investigate, speak to NPCs and collect clues and sneak around and put two and two together, I'm down if that's what you want. If you want to get into I'm going to pick a random theme, like a theme of loss um, or romance or familial obligations or um, I don't know, any kind of various all the millions upon millions of ethical and moral quandaries we can get into and yet still survive. Like what post-apocalyptic stories, they run both ways, right? They run with what's all the high level action we can have in a society where society no longer exists, and how much humanity should we lose to survive the next day? What level do we stoop to? What kind of animalistic, um, cannibalistic kind of actions do we take as human beings before we're no longer a human society anymore? So again, disrupting, using these cards that even just on the back of the cards, disrupting what's happening here. We do have our actor. We have like a religious figure speaking to crowds. People are ignoring this individual, but this individual has decided to go into a crypt. And maybe this was a religious figure or someone famous, or they found out some information, or there was a prediction, a portent that led them to an ancient chalice. And then they find the chalice and find out, yes, it is true. It is a holy artifact, and it will give me great power and knowledge. And then the individual comes back to the same community and speaks before them, anointed by their great discovery, and people are kneeling before them. And then lastly, uh, they're huddled in a corner as a dark mist surrounds the ancient chalice, possibly speaking to them, even to the point where in the artwork, a reflection in a table is his own skeleton. Maybe this will bring about this individual's death, which relates back to where this individual found this chalice in the hand of someone important. So maybe there's a bit of a cycle here. And again, the cards, uh, each of the cards represents like a person, the actions they're willing to take, the subject matter that they're focused on, their intent on why they want to have this subject matter, and a development, basically a twist or a curse. So let's do something here, and let's come up with a political intrigue story. So in our political intrigue story, we start out with our subject, and of course they are, to differentiate them on either side. Not only is the art, excuse me, not only are there 5 types of art to differentiate the cards, once you flip them over to all the wordy talky talk stuff, they are each individually colored. So, yes, could you mix these up? It does come in a box set, and you could also get card sleeves for them and things like that. But there is a way to differentiate between all of them. So we're going to pick one at random. We're going to pick a diplomat. So I picked a diplomat card. We have will deceive, an ally, to elevate their own status. And here's the twist: but there are unexpected consequences. And so, by using the cards, now, mind you, this could be a BBEG, this could be an NPC, this is a political intrigue. So maybe the players are, you have your classic dinner theater, or there's a gathering. Maybe there is people are putting on fake smiles. Maybe this is like Bridgerton on Netflix, right? Where this is the age of where people court each other, um, uh, eating pedophores and I don't know, drinking mint julep or something. But really, everyone has like a dagger behind their back, and so our diplomat can be any number of people. They may be, according to this card, uh, trained in the art of diplomacy. These individuals serve a court or realm and try to put those interests first for the most part. Sometimes they just try to fill their pockets. So, you know, right away, if this is a diplomat somewhere in your world, now mind you, these are fantasy related, but in your world, what country or who do they represent? Maybe that diplomat is from the air quote evil lands over on the other side of the valley or whatever, or they are a diplomat on the player side where they come from. The diplomat could be related simply by having the same nationality as one or more of the player characters or something like that to really tie it into the players. But of course, we have 4 options. We have a local governor, an advocate, a council member, or a rival. So, local governor, pretty easy, someone that represents um, a group of individuals. Like a local governor is responsible for the people of a village or a town. And that could be, uh, the diplomat could represent the problems that are happening to those local people. Basically, the diplomat could very much represent a microcosm of bigger issues in your world. So if there are ankhegs digging under the ground, eating all of the crops and the farmers that are harvesting those crops, maybe this diplomat brings that information to the player characters, or the player characters discover it through listening to third party conversations by this diplomat. So already I'm getting ideas in my head by just drawing the card. Now, an advocate might be someone who represents a group of individuals in your world that don't have any political power. They could be the proverbial halflings that don't have a home anymore, but they live in the crevices of society, or that evil, so-called evil land with all the trolls and goblinoids and orcs and undead on the other side of the valley. Maybe this person comes across and is like, listen, I know you think we're murderous and evil, but there's a reason we live over there, and I have a secret, and I'm going to let you know about it. Or maybe they just want to be recognized as a real country. So, and that's just one from one card. But what's their purpose? What do they want to do? Well, they, according to this card, or pick one at random, they will deceive. And who do they want to deceive? Maybe their deception is in the fine print. Maybe they're going to use lies. They're going to use something known as omitting the truth, or they're just going to renege on a deal. So, uh, fine print is like one of those things where you get like the ultra lawyer that's like, oh, I'm going to get the criminal off, not because they're innocent, but someone didn't cross an I and dot a T, right? Yes, I said that incorrectly. And lastly, maybe they're doing this to an ally. Like this individual is close to the actor and does whatever they can to assist them when they are called upon. So already in my head, I'm thinking a diplomat may have an assistant, or a family member or a noble that's traveling with them is that their ally in support of them, but really they're going to try to deceive them, maybe use them as a scapegoat or something. And without reading the card, yep, the very first one says family, friend, colleague, or supernatural. This supernatural entity from another plane has allied with the actor or the party due to shared goals or values. And of course, this could very much be temporary. And then why do they want to do it? They want to, it says to elevate their own status. And there are four reasons why underneath. This one says material wealth, political power, military might, or arcane prowess. And then lastly, we got the twist. Some of these twists, of course, you can mix and match them. And this says, but there are unexpected consequences. The actor's action has consequences that they could not have foreseen and has a negative impact on their lives or on the world at large. So, for example, they could bring about death. Maybe they create a power vacuum, terrorism, or arcane reprisal. Yeah. The King says, I lost track of time, was just watching the crazies. Um, you're not too far off over here in this end of the interwebs. But anyway, and what I think we can learn from just these cards as I'm describing them is that if we ever want to create, this is weird to say, we can use context to create a thing that can jumpstart our brains later for us to create more things. So, for example, these cards are here a stack just from political intrigue. So this is just the context of these cards is nothing but political intrigue. So high adventure, nope, you're not going to get that. Are these contracts and bounties like this stack of cards over to my left? No, they are specifically political intrigue cards. So, like you were saying, Drew, you're like, look, I specifically want to delve into specific themes. Then you yourself could write down a list of themes that really excite you. And you may not have any particular, you're like, look, I don't really have a goal in mind, but these are the themes that really excite me when I start storytelling, when I get my players involved. And you could write them down and list them out and then put them aside. And then use them for other purposes. For example, all of these cards, every one of these cards stacks comes in 5 categories. There's always an actor. I'm just putting these back while I will spread them out and and show you some of the artwork as well. So with these cards, why is there? Oh, there's one missing. Oh yeah, okay. So all of these cards, for example, this is just a stack simply known as side quests, and all of the cards have actors. There's also, once you find out what the actor is, like for example, here, an innkeeper, a noble, a merchant, a priest, and all of us can make very easy lists of these things. A wizard, a criminal, a mysterious patron, a knight, a scholar, right? So listing, and we can list these for our own worlds. You know, if, for example, if I come up with, I need to pull something out of my ass. Nomads, scorpion riders, um, uh, diviners, or I don't know what you call water seekers, um, defowlers. Um, I'm trying to. Maybe I went down the wrong path, but you get what I'm saying. I'm trying to describe people who live in a desert. So if I do that, I now, even if I make a random list, the context of my list will be centered on people that live in a desert. Okay. So we have our actors, and then we need our intent. What is their intent? Right? What's the action our characters want to take? Like, do they need to find or clear or destroy something? Maybe they want to create a blockade or sneak through or get past something. Maybe they want to protect or hide, or they need an escort past or through something. Maybe they need to discover something or surveil something or seize control of. And so these are just actions. And again, searching ChatGPT, using a thesaurus or something like that. What are some action words that we could list that even that can inspire us immediately or later on in our world? So, for example, if I stick with the desert theme, which I think is probably a mistake of mine right now, but if we stick with the desert theme, it could be survival. It could be surveilling. It could be travel to, navigating, um, uh, finding safety or shelter, uh, finding an ancient crypt or something like that. Now, mind you, these are just action words. Like, what is their action they want to take? And then we need a subject matter. So at the very bottom, on the back of the cards, simple side quest, what's the subject? What is the subject? And they give us some lists like, well, maybe they're trying to find, and then it gives us the noun, right? A goblin camp, a haunted location, a rat infested basement, a dark forest, a poisonous swamp, an undead crypt, a kobold packed mine, a monster's territory, a cult headquarters, a fiendish ruin, whatever, right? So it's and very much you could break these down into we have people, we have an action, we have a noun subject. What do they want? So on here, we have that our intent cards. What do they want when they get this thing? Maybe to recover stolen goods, to free captives, to retrieve a family heirloom, to stay safe, to prevent an event occurring, to lay foundations, whatever that case may be. So, and then lastly, we have our cards. I call them the twist, but they call these like developments, or an intrigue sometimes on the back of the cards. And in our development, we have a situation. Usually, it involves some kind of like time, energy, or resource drain. So, for example, this card, it just says, "But time is running out," or "But a curse makes things harder," or "But there is a greater foe at work," or lastly, "But doing so supports another foe." And so uncovering these twists, maybe, and of course we can write these things down, like, hey, in a perfect world, what would happen? And then we have a twist. Hey, they want to sneak into the ancient crypt and get the artifact, but if they do so, they will raise the spirit of, the dead ancestor that wasn't supposed to be disturbed. The Ant King says, "I want to make a mysterious desert nomad and then reveal later that it was just a suburb in Nevada." Well, hey, listen, we got some of our own nomadic peoples here in Ohio Valley, so but not as hot weather. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for letting me show these a lot of these things to you. Again, these are premium. Like I said, these are premium cards from Nord Games. All the links are down below. And where's it? Oh, the last set. Starting across the top, starting from the left, these are contracts and bounties. So if your players are like, you know what, we just do it for the money, maybe for some of the prestige, or we're doing someone a favor. So we have contracts and bounties. We also have political intrigue cards right here at the top middle. We have simple side quests that the side quest itself may draw the players into a greater adventure or what have you. We have relics and artifacts, and then we have epic adventures. And these, of course, are fantasy cards. Let me show you the. Oh, I can't even get to the box because it fell. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe I can without disrupting too much. There we go. Um, this is from Nord Games, the Oracle Story Generator. This is the box, and the back of the box. So there's a box set, and it does come with a tray to keep the cards organized. Again, like I said, this is a I just like to I like collecting like premium things, box sets, hardcovers, and things of that nature. And over time, I've gotten these. Like I said, I believe there's a third set out now for Monsters. This one, this particular set is just for stories, and then we have another set for character generation. Five decks of cards, each of them divided into 5 categories, and you know you can get the PDFs of these, but again, just the cards in existence itself can kind of spark an idea for us. So and to give you an idea of quite a number of things that I have, that other books and such, as I let you guys go, let me put these away because I have a stack of books next to me that all are emblematic of like really great design when it comes to randomization. And I know some people, I hear you, Drew. When it comes to randomization, I think some people think that randomization is devoid of context, and that's not necessarily the case, right? Like, it's not just, hey, I'm going to grab dice, pick a random table, and just I have no agency in why I use it, when I use it, and how I use it. That's not how randomization is neither supposed to work, nor how we are supposed to use many of these tools. This is breaking little bits of plastic and such. So I'm just gonna go show you a bunch of these various things that I've gathered over the years and such. Um, this is a campaign builder for cities and towns, and this book is from Kobold Press, and this is nothing but a book to create random cities and towns. So if you're somebody who, you know, we I don't care how good you are. One of the basic tenets of any game master, storyteller, anybody, anywhere, is to have yourself a list of names. And sometimes, even creating like little cities and towns in your fantasy worlds, we can kind of default back to very basic, like, well, it's just an average village, it's an average city. Yeah, I mean, hell, just on my own live streams, I keep talking about the exact same city state with the same guard that stands in front of the same fence to stop the same players from getting entry, blah blah blah, right? But maybe you want something different. um the Yan King says, yeah, I know Savage Worlds really wanted you to use cards and even poker chips. I never considered games with extra gimmicks, but maybe I should. Well, here, listen, let's be honest. um a Here we go. Let's A premium item like this, right? $50. You know, come on. Many of us that are in the gaming industry, it's like, yeah, yeah, Drew. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I always seem to return to my accursed desert, and I always pronounce it accursed, right? And mind you, I am always being facetious. I'm being sarcastic when I do that. But isn't there some truth to the matter that my brain can't get out of a certain like valley, and sometimes I need to get my own creativity jump started out of that valley? Yeah, and listen, we our brains are extremely good at creating order out of chaos, and a lot of times that order, we will hack off pieces of our own creativity to make sense of a thing. So if I always return to the desert, maybe there's some comfort in it, or there is an expectation of me wanting to tell a story in it that I haven't been able to. And the players are like, well, we want to go to a cloud city. And I'm like, okay, there's a desert community. There's an accursed desert on top of the cloud city, right? Something dumb like that. But anyway, so this book's from Kobold Press, and it is filled with a large number of tables. So it gives you some. wordy word to let you know about some of the details, and mixed in with the details. And this is what I love. I love compound tables. I love compound tables. So I'm glad I rolled to this. We love ourselves some evil cults, don't we? In the tabletop role playing community. And for example, here we have cult and secret society name generator. And so you roll down one, you pick one of the second table, one on the third table, and you're done. And I love compound tables because they allow us to stack um, information in a tightly packed realm, and they can give us context to a thing. So having a list of monsters usually isn't the best. Having a list of monsters with a ton of other details is much better. Um, I showed off Knave the other day, and Knave again is of extremely OSR. Ben Milton from Questing Beast. This is his second edition game. I got the little small hardback zine sized game, and in it, I just want to show you. This is extremely OSR, where you have minimal information, but it's designed to jumpstart and have us think of different things. So we have a page here with some artwork on it. I love the black and white etched artwork. But here we have monsters, classic monsters. Gives you some information about like what are the monster stats, very OSR, and then a list of pretty much 100 very common monsters that we're used to seeing in fantasy D20 games. Okay, well, yes, but boring. I mean, let's be honest, right? If you roll on here, what's number 33? Ghoul. Number 92 is Troll. Number 66 is a Mimic. Number 73 is an Orc, right? It's all alphabetized, right? Okay, no big deal. We get some stats here, all chunked in. OSR stats tend to be pretty small. Okay, easy to read. But then you start adding this to the encounter, the environment, to the monster itself. And then we have new context, which means with new context, we have new interactions. And again, repurpose, flavor, rename, reuse. Now this becomes more important. I mean, more important to our creativity, and may even surprise us. And as a game master, it's very difficult to relax and be surprised what you create. But sometimes we should embrace that. So we have, these are all D100 lists, two per page. So we have animals, we have organs, which is really weird, like organs. We have things from boar tusks to spotted fur, fly wings, walrus tusks, long ears, whiskers, pseudopods, quills, antlers, bat wings, beaver tail. So we could modify our monster if we'd like to. Then there's even monster traits like bloodless or faceless, eyeless, sparkling, stinky, stone-like, stretching, legless, lumpy, vibrating, waxy, radioactive, stuff like that. And then even some random powers like clone self, acid breath, stone wall, some spirit control, friendship aura, gravity control, and things like that. And now, mind you, again, these are tools. You don't roll on this and go, I guess I can't change it. I guess I just have to shove it into my game, even though it doesn't fit. Don't be like that. That's a very um, easy, defaultish, I'm going to fold my arms and stick my bottom lip out and pout kind of thing when it comes to random tables. The purpose of having random tables is to spark our imaginations and give us outputs that normally we wouldn't think of ourselves that might be very interesting. And usually, a lot of times, if we look at, read, or roll on these tables, we go, we may not, it may spark us to think of something that has nothing to do with what we just looked at, but that look again kicks the cobwebs out. So we have sense, sounds, tactics, weaknesses, and this is all, one word, two word, maybe if you push it, three word elements here from Nave. Very, very OSR. You get one word, stinky, and then you have to you have to figure that out. Like, okay, let's see. I rolled a cockatrice. Stinky. What does that mean? Oh, maybe there's a dead body around, or maybe it sounds like it's dying, whatever. Again, here we have another book, Organic Towns. This is from Headless Hydra Press, and it gives us the ability to create organic towns. They even have a character sheet of sorts for the buildings in organic towns, and it is full of the whole book is just full of alphabetized 2-page or 4-page spreads of different types of towns, and I love it. I love the layout of this because I may not have been thinking of a guild hall, but now I've got one, or a hunting camp outside the town. There's a keep. There's the mage's tower. Some of these are pretty common. Um, a merchant shop, and again, like I said, there's some of these might be 2-page spreads, general stores, and things of that nature. Um, there's a mine, temple, etc. So this is from a Headless Hydra random book. Before we get out of here, we have The Weird. This is from Monte Cook Games, and Monte Cook, Sean K. Reynolds, and Bruce Cordell, and it's from Monte Cook Games. And this book is called The Weird. And again, this one really, really embraces compound tables. So the tables in this book are designed so that you can use this for anything from fantasy to modern to science fiction. And what they've done is use percentile tables, categorize them by letter, and so that you can make this as very I'll say down to earth and mundane, all the way into the very extreme weird style games that you want. So uh, the letters are I, S, G, and W, and they basically each letter that you go up represents like how really strange do you want to get. So like this, for example, this 2-page table says weird tech item drawbacks for science fiction. It's another one. Weird malfunctions, modern sci-fi. Weird tech item enhancements for science fiction. Weird villainous plots for any genre. Weird adventure seeds for superheroes. Weird mutations, any genre. Right? And there's a bunch of this stuff. Weird houses, any genre. Weird ways to succeed, any genre. And this gives you different successes. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, weird space anomalies, weird plants, any genre. So this is just nothing but 2-page spreads of like weird locations in science fiction. And again, some of the percentages give you some things, and then as you get further and further up into the chart, they will stop. One level will stop so that the more weird and strange will become later on in the list based on the kind of genre that you're looking at, or not genre, the thematic elements you want in your game. Yeah, yeah. From brothel to from brothel to yeah to the shit. Now you got my brain going to the cemetery. Yeah. Thank you says, "Whoa, holographic." Oh. Okay. So Monte Cook Games tends to put out premium objects. This is a book cover, but the book cover is clear, so it's got an imprint. So this is the plastic book cover. This is the book itself, and then the book itself is got a matte finish with a like a metallic etching in it. So yeah, so yeah. So absolutely, yeah. Weird companions, any genre, um, weird adventure seeds for fantasy, and this book is just 200, 250 over 250 pages of just continuous weirdisms and things like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then it gave us some bookmarks, things like that, and even the bookmarks spell out the weird. So, yep, and of course, this is so that you could, for example, um, the idea behind the book would be that, oh, I'm running a fantasy game, but in my fantasy world, I don't know, alien spacecraft landed in my fantasy world 1,000 years ago and has, so we really don't have magic. We also have like technology, but the people don't understand it and such. So yeah. Not necessarily holographic, but lastly, we're getting to the end here. The UVG, the ultraviolet grasslands. Actually, it's ultraviolet grasslands and the Black City psychedelic metal role playing from Wizard Thief Fighter Studio and Exalted Funeral Press by Luka Rajek. Total name. And this this of course has plenty of randomization. I love the layout. I love two-page layouts. So when you open up the book, you have everything you need in front of you, and of course each of these is has a number. It relates to a map, and there are a number of like random tables, randomizations, but this is a specific type of game world, and very much Oregon Trail, heavy metal, Thundar the Barbarian kind of world with mix of magic and technology. And um, again, the context of what's in here fits into this world specifically. So despite the fact that things are random, all of the random things are in world that you would be able to find. And as a matter of fact, once you get to uh this is, by the way, this is a map of the world. It's like a long, it's an Oregon Trail game. It's an exploration game. Specifically, you're supposed to travel from um, across the ultraviolet grasslands to the Black City, and at the very back of the book, all kinds of random tables for weaponry, strange items. Look how detailed, packed in this is. It gives lots of story hooks in it. So not only do you just get randomizations and such, but you also get like little story hooks. Like, hey, your character has a cybernetic device that glows purple or activates or makes a strange sound whenever you get close to this kind of animal, or this, to the north of this world or whatever. And then again, I love compound tables because you can tell many different s- limited information multiplied by every other table to give yourself plenty of opportunities to create brand new different things. So, for example, if someone was a diplomat, well, that diplomat could be from anywhere with all kinds of personalities and how they look and things like that. So you're not just getting the same uh, thing over and over again. Same thing with climate, geography, weather, um, that kind of thing. Languages, the Rainbow Lands, whatnot. So this is first edition of the Ultraviolet Grasslands. I thought about picking up the second edition, but I like this one. And lastly, we are going to show you. Lastly, Kevin Crawford, the the turning into the godfather of randomization and toolkits, is Worlds Without Number, Cities Without Number, Stars Without Number. I think there's another one out there. You guys tell me. Um, yeah, this these are monster. What the hell just happened to my? What in the world just happened? What? Yeah, that's what I want to know. I think my screen just went out. Yeah, that's what I. Yeah. Well, up. Looks like my. If you can hear me and see what the heck's going on, it looks like my screen just went dead. What in the world? Okay, let's hope that it didn't break. Oh, yay! My screen came back. Hmm. And it looks funky. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, sorry about that. You guys know I do this sort of seat of my pants. Stars without number. You know, big giant. Okay, cool. I said I did I just get cut off? No. All right. But anyway, this is just a page through the Stars Without Number. This book is chock full of um, everything you ever need to make for. And what I really find fun, and I'm surprised more people don't do this, is that, for example, he has these 2-page spreads. I don't know why I love a 2-page spreads. Yeah, yeah. The lament configuration. Yeah, you, you know I'm a geek. What I love about these tables is he uses the classic 6 dice and makes tables about them. So, for example, this is one roll polity missions, and you can take a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, D12, and D20 all together, roll them, and again, you have like using these the cards that I was showing, the card decks that I was showing for Nord Games for the Oracle. It's like, oh, direction of interest, major difficulty of the mission, transhuman twist or vital MacGuffin. Why are the PCs needed? Basic nature of the mission, the thing that is the focus, right? And you get all of those together, D4 all the way through D20, and whether you like what you roll or not, hopefully that will inspire you or knock out those cobwebs in your brain and go, I don't really like that mission, but what's another option on this list? Oh, maybe that's it. Oh, there's a very harsh time limit. I like that. All right, now why would there be a time limit? An obscure polity doctrine is making trouble. I don't really like that one. Oh, a strange fad or ideology is interfering. I really like this option. Or, and it's that kind of thing. So again, I love things that I'm a collector of inspirations, and thought I'd some of these to you. If you guys would like me to go through some of these books or whatever, I could. I mean, yeah, this is an inspirational show. Not sure how, how much not sure how much people would like that. Although I did consider at one point coming up with a coming up with a desire to almost make random story hooks and elements on the channel that people could come to the channel and just steal them. We could get random dice, random card draws, and do real short videos where you just say, hey, listen, this is, matter of fact, I'll do that right now just before we leave here. Okay. So these cards are for villains and scoundrels. I love this. So we have an assassin that is grandiose, wants to cause mayhem, is callous, and used to be a past hero. And look, I mean, that's just from pulling some random cards. And I didn't even read any of them. These are just the titles on the cards. And so it would be pretty interesting to make like a whole bunch of little small videos of like NPCs and villains and story hooks and stuff like that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for allowing me to show you this, some of these premium selections of things that are available to us to inspire us and create stories. Not that you need them, but you can also steal from the very people who created these things as well. Maybe the word steal is pretty harsh. Maybe to be inspired. Maybe it's an homage to the things they've created. But again, like using these cards. They have a person, a subject, a motivation, a goal of focus, and a twist. And that's pretty easy to come by if you want to create some stories. So, guys, be inspired. Guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Really appreciate it. I got to get out of here. You guys have a great one. I'll see you later. Bye. There we go.